This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
And hey, I'm back this week. I'm your host, Jason Glick. Yeah, this week, well, we're going way back in time. Okay, we're not going so far back in time, but we're going back to the 70s or so, because we're talking about Osamu Tezuka.
Well, you have to, because he's no longer alive.
Yes.
All right?
Yeah, Tezuka died back in 88 or so after producing a huge amount of manga, over 100,000 pages of work, and to the point where he created some of those iconic creations of Japanese manga. We're talking about Astro Boy, Kimba the White Lion, Blackjack, like all these great creations. I mean, the guy was referred to as the god of manga, and I'm willing to agree to that. Like he created a lot of the conventions we see to these days. Like, but just like he was back when he was right. I mean, he dreamed like some. So like one weekend, like, hey, I'm gonna create a story about a guy whose body parts are sold off to his dad by a demon for ultimate power, and then he has got to go and fight all these demons to get him back for like one body part at a time. And hey, you created like the foundations for Shonen Jump manga right there with Dororo. Yeah, but for the most part, a lot of his stuff, some of the stuff I find like kind of juvenile and childish. I'm not going to say what. We'll probably come back to that in a later podcast, because really it's like you can't just say one podcast about Osamu Tezuka. You got to create an epic amount.
Yeah, because he's legendary. He's an epic manga
he's created so much stuff, and he's gone through so many transmutations in his style over the years that you can't just I can't talk about all this stuff in 20, 30 minutes.
And he influenced a whole generation too.
Yeah, really. In fact, I'm just going to stick to talking about the 3 bricks of his work that have been produced through Vertical Publishing, and they've dedicated themselves to reproducing a lot of his most noteworthy stuff. The most noteworthy of which is called Ode to Kirihito. Ode to Kirihito is a story of Kirihito Osanai, a doctor at this major metropolitan hospital, who is studying this disease called Monmo disease, which turns normal humans into beast humans. Like you get dog faces and start growing fur, just turn into beasts and all.
It's like Beast from the X-Men.
It's to be honest, it's not too far off, but really it's Tezuka's approach basically focuses on what it means to be human. It actually has an actual endpoint as opposed to beasts, or which if he ever became human again, which I'm pretty sure he might have been at several different points in the X-Men saga. But you can't have Beast become human again because he wouldn't be Beast anymore.
Right.
Yeah. With this story, it's a great moral story of Kirihito's struggle to find the roots of this disease after succumbing to it himself. Because at one point, after he's gone to the mountain village where it originated, he contracted himself and then eventually he's sold to slavers in order to get him out of the country, because the doctor who was supervising his research has his own theory about the disease, that it's a contagious disease where these people need to be isolated and not exposed to anyone else. But while Osanai is shipped out to the country, he basically encounters a whole series of trials where he's displayed for amusement by other people, where he's rescued and has to trek across the Arabic countryside with a girl who made her living being a living taco ball, where she's dipped in batter and fried up and emerges from it unscathed. I mean, it's crazy stuff.
That is crazy.
Yeah, and
takoyaki is that?
Yeah, takoyaki. Where she's also a nymphomaniac as well, and she's trying to bed Osanai all this time, but he eventually he keeps resisting her. He's trying to be faithful to his one girlfriend, even though he actually had sex with another woman up in the mountain village. It's crazy, complex moral stuff. The thing about the series that makes it work is that none of these characters are actually villains. I mean, Osanai, he's essentially the hero, but he's also got his moral failings, as I just stated. Then you got his other buddy, another doctor who tries to sexually assault Osanai's Osanai's girlfriend, but then he's also doing his own research into the disease and trying to find a way to prove that Osanai was in the right. But he's just so weak that he can't resist giving it into temptation whenever it presents himself. And even then, Osanai's doctor, who set him up for this stuff in the first place, even though he believes that this disease is really contagious, even in the face of proof that it's not, he's still trying to do the right thing in order to see this disease is treated right. He's just going about it in a way that that's extremely self-serving. None of these people are bad, conventional evil personas, but they've all got their own humanistic agendas that they're trying to work with. And it's great to see how they progress over the course of the novel. I mean, the novel has a feeling of this, you're going through a very, very dark tunnel, and at the very end you're seeing a light as eventually the truth of this disease and the struggles of the characters eventually come full circle. It's a great story, and I recommend to anyone, if you want to see why Tezuka is called the god of manga, what his storytelling skills at his best, go buy Kirihito. I mean, Tezuka does have a very cartoonish style. I mean, it's been compared to almost Disney-esque at times, but with Kirihito, it's still fantastic. I mean, he can draw just about anything from beasts to humans to really very stylized characters. I mean, even if some of the characters do have a very cartoonish aspect, they never lose their humanity or their ability to express genuine emotion. I mean, it's great stuff. And God knows, I got no ideas how this would work as an anime, but I doubt we'd ever be able to see something like that. Yeah. But, it's fortunately for us, Vertical did not stop with them producing bricks of Tezuka's work. They've also done other stuff. The one that followed after Kirihito is Apollo's Song. It's a story, his meditation on sex and reincarnation and everything. It starts off with one of the most ridiculous anthropomorphizations you'll ever see. It's basically, you see all these guys right here? Mm-hmm. Let's see. Guys, all 500 million of us will race to the death to reach our one and only queen. All but one lucky winner will perish. The odds are 500 million to 1. Ready, go. And it shows all these 500 million people racing to meet this one girl and in this cavern. And it's you look at this and you think, hey, that's kind of an interesting situation, but what does it represent, really? It's sex. It's 500 million sperm racing to mate with this one girl in the egg. And that's the story right here. It's basically his meditation on sex and death, starting with Shogo, this crazy guy who hates any type of love. I mean, he's basically committed to an asylum for killing animals that basically try to mate together, because he hates any kind of expression of love, and so they figure that if he's killing animals all these times, he's eventually going to graduate to humans. So we're going to treat him with electroshock therapy. But electroshock therapy doesn't just straighten him out. It basically sends him towards this position of a goddess who tells him that he has sinned against love and is now doomed to fall in love over generations, and only to have as he falls in love, to be separated from his true love at the point of death. And it's left to the audience, to the readers, perception to determine whether or not this is actually happening, or if it's just a hallucination by Shogo. Because as he wakes up from this trance, he realizes, Doctor, what'd you do? Why did I see this goddess and all? And then it eventually, as he undergoes more treatment, he eventually flashes back into other lives. One being as a German Nazi commandant, guarding these people who are going on a train, and then saving this one Jewish girl who strikes his fancy. And as he tries to save her, after the train is attacked, she shoots him, and then he's about to die as this other Nazi guys come and try to attack her. And then that's just one story. Then he eventually wakes up, goes through more therapy, then falls asleep again, and wakes up in another another situation where he's escorting this one reporter type chick who's doing her own reporting story, and they wind up on this island where all these animals have paired up together, kind of like a Noah's Ark type story, and he's trying to, as he's learned about like human relations through all these animals who have established this perfect society together. And then the other one is where he's always in the far future, and he's this assassin who's like tasked with trying to destroy the robotic queen of the robots, in order to save all humans who are in this world. And like the thing is, like the robot queen is trying to find out what is love, what are these people trying to do, how do humans experience this or robots can't. I mean, it's as his stories played out in the real world. It's just kind of strange because like he's falling in love with this girl who wants to train him as a world class athletic runner, but he's also like going back and forth between these past and future storylines. On one hand, I will say that like, a lot of these the weakness of these individual stories that they don't generate a real emotional connection. Like you don't necessarily believe that Shogo is truly like these are the loves of his life and all, but as you keep experiencing the story, it kind of gets to the accumulation where you get the like Shogo like surely is learning what it means to love and why he's falling in love with this girl who's training him. But naturally, it can't end well because like this he's sinned against love and he can't, and he's doomed to like experience love. But then just as this relationship reaches the working point, she gets taken away from him, and it's a strange, interesting story, but if you're interested in all what Tezuka does, it's the fact that it's like he makes all these spare parts work into a coherent story. It's still interesting to see it as it happens, and I'd still recommend this to anyone who's interested in Tezuka's work, or just like or any old school manga as well. I mean, it's only $20 for like 500 pages, so like you got yourself a good deal right there. I mean, like Kirihito was $25 for like 800 pages, and like that's your good deal right there. Oh, yeah. So like really, it's strange, weird stuff that you're not going to see from like your regular like mainstream manga that you see making the bestseller lists for the New York Times, or you see lining the shelves in your normal Borders. But it's good stuff. That being said, the most recent brick they've released from him is a book called MW. More than anything else, this is the most anti-Tezuka work that you'll see. Because while he's best known for like this Astro Boy, Kimber the White Lion, almost family friendly stuff. I mean, the stuff I described before isn't really family friendly, but this is like Tezuka going like, hey, you know what? This is me going at you never see me doing like this before. Here's me telling about the story of Michio Yuki, a well-respected banker who also has a hobby of killing people just for kicks, and also dressing up as a girl in order to seduce people and screw people's minds. And also there's the fact that I'm also having sex with this priest whose gang back in the day exposed me to this toxic gas called MW that destroyed my sense of morality way back in the day. I mean, yeah, you get the sense that Tezuka is really trying to create a work that is the opposite of what people have come to expect from him. But he still knows how to plot a great suspense thriller. I mean, like you've got, even though like Yuki is truly amoral, there's no limits to what he's going to do. There's still a thrill to seeing what lengths he's going to go to. But the real problem with this story, more than anything else, I mean, like the plotting is sound. It's got like lots of interesting plot twists, but the problem is that a great villain is judged by his antagonists, and ostensibly Yuki's antagonist is Father Iwao Garai, like the guy who was originally a gang member when he kidnapped Yuki as a kid and tried to get this he and his buddies were just gang banging on this one island. Like wound up actually having sex with Yuki as a kid, because like that's the thing about this book. It also describes the Japanese point of view of homosexuality as like, hey, if the guy is pretty enough, it doesn't matter. Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's like I'm sure like fangirls love that kind of stuff, but it's one of those things where it's kind of like, I really don't think homosexuality like guys like function that way at all. And it's one of those things. If that gets you, you're gonna roll your eyes and go, oh God, why bother? But the thing is with Garai, he's. See, rather than just he's a priest. He's supposed to represent like the moral, upstanding thing, and even though he's really got like some really checkered past, Guy is really, really stupid. I mean, like he sees all the stuff that Yuki has done, but he just can't. He's always in some sort of morally compromised position in order to try and stop Yuki. I mean, at one point Yuki eventually tricks him into shooting a girl who was already dead to think that Garai did it. I mean, but really, it comes to be perfectly honest, like Garai comes off as a lot of the women I read in hentai manga who just like, oh, they're being blackmailed by a guy who's blackmailing them into doing even worse stuff than he originally caught them doing in the first place. And as far as the whole hentai manga thing, yeah, it's like I read all that stuff, but I'm never going to talk about it because it's really not of any literary merit whatsoever.
You mean people look at it for the pictures?
Yeah, I mean, it's like really, it's like, it's like all hentai manga. It's all for the whacking off more than just like any literary merit, and that's the tradition that regrettably that Mr. Garai hails from. And he's just kind of the guy who like at one point one of the priests says, yes, I understand what you've. He confesses to all of his sins. The priest says, yeah, you're gonna burn for what you've done, but that's what God has intended for you. And then he still keeps doing what Yuki has blackmailed him into doing. And you're kind of like, oh, God, dude, you're so screwed. Just admit that you're screwed and die. Which, yeah, he eventually does, but it's kind of like... And I have more sympathy for the prosecutor that's going after Yuki throughout the whole thing. I mean, it's a good thriller for the most part. And even though like you get the sense that Tezuka is going after the whole... I'm producing a book that is the opposite of what I've been known for. He's still got enough storytelling sense to make that kind of thing work. It doesn't come off as pretentious or like self-indulgent. And that being said, the really thing I have to complain about is also the ending, which basically it's one of those thriller endings it's an end, but also implies that, oh wait, it's not over. Because it's going to keep going. And because you see this and it's like, no, don't do this. This is ridiculous. She just had it end right there. But, I still like it. I still recommend it to anyone who's interested in Tezuka. Like, it's probably, I admit, it might be the least of the three bricks that Vertical has reduced, but it's still worth checking out. Like, I will admit that you're probably going to have to want to employ the Amazon discount for this more than the other two. Yeah. Okay. And like I said, I'll probably come back to talking about Tezuka at some point, though the short version is everything that has been released from Vertical by Tezuka is worth buying. Same with Viz. Regrettably, though, even though Dark Horse publishes the best manga in the U.S., in my opinion, Dark Horse really got the shaft as far as producing licensing the quality Tezuka stuff. They got his early stuff, which I think is his weakest. And yes, that includes Astro Boy. You can hate me on that for later. But we'll come back to that at some point, because, you can't just do one podcast about Tezuka.
So true, so true.
Indeed. Okay, on that note, we're calling it a night.
All right, see you next time.